A little fun on Veterans Day, playing with the old red, white, and blue. What's it going to look like? I don't know if I should tell you. You're going to have to find out. Howdy, howdy, y'all. This is Claire Lawrence, and today we're going to play with some resin. I'm going to do some red, white, and blue. Now, granted, the red is more of a pink, but it's a really rich one, and this blue, I think it'll pop and still give the impression of red, white, and blue. It's almost like a raspberry, kind of a reddish color. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this thing up, and at least I hope I am, of doing just something that'll go nuts with the cells. And there's a lot of sparkle in the pieces. I've got some resin art colors in there, and I've got one of her colors from her diamond collection, which is extra sparkly because of the mica powders that are in, or the micas that are in there. So there's no glitter in resin art whatsoever. I want to emphasize that it's all comes from the micas and in the magic that they do. So I'm using Art Coat by Stone Coat Countertops, and I love this resin. It's very clear, but it also has a super long working time. I think I was up to like an hour and a half at the time of making this. I was doing some other pieces as well. So, gonna give it a nice coat overall, and then of clear resin, and then start laying in my colors. And I guess the kind of thought that I had in mind was just laying in some colors in a kind of a spiral form. So the color, I guess, disbursement was going to be overall. And I'm going to use Erica's technique with doing the swiping. Now, I have to admit, it is rather cold in the studio today. I try to warm it up. It's not quite as warm as I would like it to be. It is a concern how it's going to behave. I don't know. It's like 70 degrees in the studio, so I'm hoping it's warm enough and it'll be fine. It's Texas, and you get that fall time. Sometimes temperatures will drop for a couple days and then go back up to like 80. So we're in one of those little cold spells right now. At any rate, I'm getting my colors together. I think they're already mixed up. Of course, I'm going by memory here. And I'm going to be using definitely Stone Coat base tint colors, and I've got their white, and I mixed it into one where you just barely use a little bit of it, and it reacts with the other pastes or colors and helps create the cells. But because I wanted the white to be opaque, I mixed in a little bit of a white paste. Excuse me, I just yawned there. How rude, I know. Um, and so the white paste will help it get a little bit extra punch of white to it. Otherwise, it kind of comes off a little bit, almost like well, you think about it like milk. If you get cream, it's really really white. And it's nice and opaque. But if you go get skim milk, it has a very slight transparency to it. If you just use the Stone Coat base tint with just that little bit in it, it kind of has that milky kind of transparent look, and I didn't want that. So I've got the purple is one of the diamond ones from Resin Art, and the raspberry looking color is actually a mixture of two different colors. I think I've got a magenta from Color Obsession. I'm going by memory here. And one of her pinks, I don't remember the red color, I'm so sorry, from Resin Art. So those are mixed in together to make that color. And then this one is just straight, one of the purple tints from Color Obsession. So I'm going to bring in the white soon. I think. Yep. And you don't need a whole lot to get the cell stuff to happen, if that's what you're wanting to happen. It's starting to get thick, the resin is. So just a thin line will do what I need. Oh, here's a tip. If you want to create nice smooth curves, like the spiral, for example, when you draw in lines really, really slow, they have a tendency to be a little jittery. But if you do it a little faster, by nature, your curves will be a lot smoother. Now, I remember having a tricky time with this swiping paper because of the resin being kind of cold, and it seemed to have a hard time gripping. But what you want to do is, in this case, I put a little bit of colored resin on top of it since I'm putting it directly on top of some white base tint. And you want to have that color go over the white. Now, what it's going to do is drag this white across all the other colors so it'll get it all the way going around. I'm not explaining myself very well. Let me start this again. You want to drag the colors over the white base tint in order to create your cell reaction. And so what I did is I applied a little bit of color onto the swiping paper, which is basically freezer paper. And it automatically, just by doing that, it jump starts the cell reaction. So if you notice, I was having a hard time getting the swiping paper to adhere. It seemed like it wasn't making contact. So what I ended up doing is I would start a new swiping paper so it would continue on the cell chemistry and without ruining the design. And I ended up putting just slight bit of pressure with my finger, and that helped in, of course, the nice wiggle factor. I wanted to just maintain contact. It seemed like it started like skipping off the top, like skipping rocks. So I definitely didn't want that to happen. Now, right now, it almost looks like a hot mess. It kind of looks like kind of like a piece of candy. And I decided, I'm going to go ahead and change directions on a couple of the swipes. And I got another piece out, and I'm just going to go from the center out to the side. And again, you saw there was a dark line on the paper. So again, I made sure that I had just a little bit of color on the paper. And that one I wasn't too worried about it skipping a little bit. So believe it or not, it looks like a hot mess, but trust the process. Having the color go over the white really does start to react. And if you notice, your cells developing like almost just off center a little bit and on the right side. And then you'll see them slowly, gradually build up around. It's kind of neat to watch it happen. And I've had several pieces like this where I'll go and I'll put them away in the drying rack, come back to it, and it's like, what the heck just happened? Is this the same piece? It'll almost transform. So they're starting to pop up everywhere. Wait till you see the after. I love this blue color. It's really, really pretty. It's not even really a blue. It's like a blue violet. Okay, I couldn't handle it any longer. I think it's been about 16 hours, and I just had to look at the piece. I just had this feeling something magical would happen. And it's, if you notice, it's like a soft cure. I can put my fingernail on it, it makes an impression, but it slowly self heals. So we're still in a good state. I'm not going to hurt it. Might show fingerprints. It's easy to clean off, not a big deal. But look at the cell bonanza that happened. I had to take it outside because of the sparkle, and it just, the inside photos just were not doing it justice, and the sparkle goes all the way through, or sometimes there's even some areas where the cells open up and you could see the sparkle through the cells, especially like in the red area where there's just a ghosting of white going across it. It has this window where the red's really super vibrant. It's like frosted in some areas, but and then you get this pow of, I don't even know, it's kind of like sparkly glitter. And there's even glitter in the clear area, just very lightly dusted. This was a real big surprise piece. And what was interesting is the detail shots that I got right after I poured this was really pretty. But the cells kept growing and developing as it was curing. So there's two sets of detail shots in this one just because of that. So look forward to that. And also at the end of this video, I'll have a still of the colors I used. I'm just really, some pieces really surprised me, and this is one of them. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, but definitely hit the bell to get notified next time I put something up, because there might be more surprises. Later, y'all.